Hi guys, it's Lily, and I'm really excited today because my order of the new Moleskine 2016 Daily Diary has just arrived, and I'm really looking forward to showing it to you. I kind of feel like in the planner community that there's a bit of a gap where bound planners are concerned. So you generally get interest sort of divided among the three main camps of ringed planners, spiral bound, coil bound planners like Erin Condren, and traveler's notebooks. And I feel like you don't see a lot of people using or a lot of reviews of bound planners like the Moleskine diaries and the Leuchtturm diaries. Hobonichis, of course, are very popular, but generally it seems like people who use them more for art journaling rather than as planners. So I just wanted to make this review to kind of, sort of put a bit of focus on the bound planners because they're my favorite type of planners. I love them, even though I love ring planners as well. And I really like the Moleskine brand. So I have the 2014 and 2015 versions of this, but I haven't seen the 2016 one yet, so I'm really excited to see what it looks like. So all I've done is taken off the plastic wrap. It comes shrink wrapped. And so when you take the plastic off, you get this like kind of cardstock little folding cover here. So it just says Daily Diary Planner 2016 hardcover. And it's got all the details here. So it's a day per page with a year overview, and then it has this little 2016 calendar in here, which is quite nice. You could cut this out and stick it in something if you wanted to. I'll just put that to the side. So let's see what it looks like. So the cover looks like this. It's completely blank on both sides. This is a new color for 2016. It's called Mauve. It's just like a really nice, bright purple color. And there's nothing on the spine. Then on the back it just says Moleskine on the bottom. And it has this elastic. So if you take off the elastic, there's just a little leaflet in here. Got the Moleskine newsletter and the Moleskine pens. If I was going to use this, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use this or what I'm going to use it for, but I think the best solution for this type of planner is to get one of the Leuchtturm pen loops, and they just attach on, and they have all kinds of different colors, and that's the easiest way to be able to use this with a pen. So on the inside cover, you have this: in case of loss, please return to, and as a reward. Which I always think is kind of weird. I don't know why they put that on there. I would leave that off if that were me, but they all have that, and then you have the little Moleskine logo. I'm so excited. Moleskine Diary 2016. And then you have a personal data page. So it has things like name, surname, home address, telephone, mobile, email, business address, and then all of this other weird stuff like family doctor, blood group, allergies, which I always leave blank. And then you have a 2016 and 2017 calendar, a year per page, and it also lists the week numbers, which is quite nice. And then this is a new feature. I'm so excited about this because I saw this on Amazon in the little pictures. And I thought, could this really be true? They've added this in. They've never had this before. And I know that this had nothing to do with me, but I kind of felt like they must have been listening because I mentioned in one video that I wish that they had one of these. And now they do. So that's awesome. So you have a month per page. I think the only thing that would improve this is if it were a month per 2 pages, because then you'd have more room to write. And that's what I think most planners that have this type of monthly spread do, like the Hobonichi, which is always my gold standard, month on 2 pages. That really gives you enough room to write. But I mean, the boxes are pretty small, so let me bring this a little bit closer. You can't really fit a huge amount in here. By the way, this is the Moleskine large size, which is pretty close to A5. It's a little bit smaller than A5, but if I compare it to, let's see, this is to my A5 Hobonichi. So let me just put it on top of that. It's a little bit narrower. I think that's the main difference, and it's also a little bit shorter, but that's just because of the Hobonichi cover. So if you compared it to the actual um, inserts, the notebook inside, it's about the same, but it is a bit narrower. And then let's also compare it to an A5 Filofax. So it's my A5 Domino. So you see it's quite a bit narrower. At one point I was thinking of cutting down my 2015 weekly Moleskine and putting it in a Filofax, but I decided that the pages would be too narrow. So I think that's the main difference between this and a true A5, but it's more or less A5 size. And it will fit in an A5 cover, like it fits quite well in the A5 Flex by Filofax. Anyway, so a month on one page, and I still think, even though ideally it would be nice to have a month that, you know, this spread going over 2 pages, it's a big improvement over what they had last year, which was nothing. So that's great. And it's got it divided into weeks. So again, it labels the week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And then it has space for notes at the bottom. The whole bottom bit here is for notes. And it's a Monday start. So you have January, February, March, April, May, June, and it goes through the whole year. I really think that this is a huge improvement. I'm happy that they did this, even though it's only month per page. And it's nice, it's the usual like Moleskine font, which is really pretty, and the weeks are a little bit shaded. They're kind of grey. The rest of it is black. Then you have this page for holidays and events, which is over 2 pages for the year, because Moleskine doesn't actually label any holidays. I think because this is like kind of designed for international use, so the actual diary itself is like kind of completely blank. It doesn't mention any holidays. So you can look them up on the Moleskine website, and it has these diary add-ons, and then you can like put holidays in here. I actually think it's more convenient to put it in the body of the planner itself. Then you have this funny page. I think a few peculiar Moleskine quirky pages are coming up here. So there's this world map, and it's got time zones, which I always imagine is only useful if you're like kind of an international business person that's constantly traveling around the world and you need to know time zones. But I think for most people this is really not that useful, so I don't know why they include it, but it's kind of nice having a world map, I guess. Before, when I used this as my main planner, I would like kind of mark in locations where I had conferences. So, if I was going to a conference somewhere, I would sort of put in the date and write it down, and then I could like kind of see it. But it was only because it just happened to be here. Yeah, so there's that page. And then you've got another 2 pages. They call it travel. So this one is travel planning, and then this one is travel memo. So you have like your destination, the date, essential bibliography, and notes. And then it goes on to the next page. I guess this is supposed to be for your plans of trips, and then this one is for like notes that you're taking on your trips. I don't really understand these 2 pages. I just use these for extra note pages, because this kind of goes in with the sort of international jet-setting theme that they've got going here. I'm not really sure how often anybody would like need to, make this kind of travel plan, but I guess you could use it maybe like for packing lists. Yeah, like I said, it's good note pages. I would probably like cover this up with washi tape, and then just use it for notes. And then you have another page in the same theme. I just think this is so funny. This is like, Moleskine. Like, do people really use this? Like, why do you put this in? But okay, it's fine. So flight durations. Again, like if you're traveling every week and you really need to know, what the distance is between Geneva and Johannesburg, then like great. But yeah, it's like this whole complicated chart. So it has like a list of all different places, and then like and then it has like the time. So like if you're leaving, let's say from Amsterdam to Beijing is 9.5 hours, I think. And then it has like this whole table with all different places and the amount of times that it would take. So Yeah, and like I don't really mean this as a criticism. It's kind of baffling to me why anyone would need to have this in their planner, but it's kind of interesting to see, I guess. And then you have international dialing codes and internet country codes, which is slightly more useful. I guess this could be useful. Yeah, again, like I personally think that it would have been better, like a better use of space to make these month on 2-page spreads and cut out all of this, but I don't know. And then they have measures and conversions, temperature, speed, international sizes, which, like, again, to me, I don't really understand why that's here, but there it is. And then you have a blank page right before the diary starts, and there's a ruler, and I like this ruler. I think that this is kind of cool. And I sort of like all of these things because, you know, I associate them with Moleskine, and I love Moleskine, so it's like, oh, it's all of the Moleskine weird stuff at the front. But then it stops, and you have one blank page where it just says Moleskine Diary 2016. And then there's a legend for the, like, codes that they have throughout the diary. So they have, like, new moon is labeled, and then, like, the different phases of the moon, and then they also have a weather icon and a temperature icon. So let's begin with the actual diary. So it starts on the 1st of January, which is a Friday, which is still week 53 apparently, and they label the week at the bottom of the right hand page. So I think the main drawback to a daily diary is that you kind of don't have any sense of the week, and that was one of the reasons why I stopped using this as my main planner. For one was because it was too bulky, because I had to have another notebook along with it, and then another reason was just that it's like you kind of feel like you have no sense of, you have no overview. It's better now that they've included this monthly spread, but it's still, I think you kind of feel a bit like sort of tunnel vision. But it's nice because you do have this, like, kind of big space to write on. And they give you a nice sort of, like, layout here with 2 lines per hour, and each hour is labeled. So let's see if you can see that. So you've got an hour here, and then you have the half hour, and then another hour. And it goes from 8 in the morning until 8 at night, which is pretty good. Now that I'm used to the Hobonichi, it doesn't seem like that long, because I like it to, you know, go from like 6 in the morning until midnight, but I think this is, you know, pretty standard. And then you have a couple of blank lines at the bottom, and then you have this one that has the weather icon and one has the temperature icon in case you're into tracking the weather or the temperature. And yeah, another sort of like quirky thing about this is that every day has the times labeled except for Sunday. So you see, Friday you've got all of the hours labeled, Saturday you've got all the hours labeled, Sunday they don't put the hours in, they give you the same amount of spaces but they just put dots in. So it's, you know, it's like they're saying, oh well, you're not going to be doing anything on Sunday, you don't need to know what time it is, which I don't really understand. I think it would have been better if they'd put the times in on Sunday as well, but there you are. And then you have, so here week 1 starts, and then you have the same thing repeating, and the one thing that I really like about Moleskine is I like their font. It's very clean. It's like kind of a sans serif, looks kind of like Calibri. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a very nice, like, kind of yeah, just a sort of clean, neat font, and it's not too dark. It's like, the whole thing I think is quite understated. So the paper quality is nice. I don't know what the GSM is on this, but it has a nice feel to it. It's not that thick, but it feels like, it doesn't feel like copy paper. I've heard a lot of people complaining about Moleskine paper quality having gone down recently, and I have noticed that on some of their smaller notebooks, but I haven't noticed it on the diaries, and I'm happy to say that this 2016 diary seems to be the same in terms of paper quality as the previous ones that I've had. So the ink throughout is kind of, yeah, it's sort of like muted, a bit understated. It's not like really kind of like bright, thick lines. So the whole thing just has a very nice aesthetic. And because this is a daily diary, there's really, not that much more to see. It just kind of continues on like this. Like I said, it labels the phases of the moon, but it doesn't label holidays. And so it goes until, let's see, the very end of 2016. So Saturday the 31st, and it stops there, so it's exactly a year. I guess because it's a daily layout rather than a weekly layout, it doesn't have to include the beginning or the end of the week if the year starts or ends in the middle. So it's just 365 days. And then it's got week 52 here. And then you just have like 3 blank pages for notes. 1, 2, 3. And then you have a back cover. And then they have this pull-out insert, which is an address book. And this is something else that I don't really find useful because I don't keep any, physical addresses. I have everything on my phone. So I never use this. I always just put it in recycling. Although I think that it would be good for something. You could use it for like just as sort of as an alphabetical, kind of like notebook of things that you wanted to keep. Just any kind of like permanent notes that you wanted to keep. The tabs are laminated, and they've got the same Moleskine font. So I think that this would be potentially useful for something. And it goes in this classic Moleskine fold-out pocket. Sometimes they put stickers in here, but there aren't any stickers in this one. So that's the pocket. The pocket is quite useful just for, you could keep stickers in this. And that's it. And then we have the elastic, and the only other thing is, of course, that you get the Moleskine bookmark, which is in the same color as the cover. So I really, really like this purple color. I think that this is a great feature that they've got. And they've also got some other nice colors. They have one that's called, I think it's called Tide Green, and it looks like a very sort of like deep teal, like sort of blue-green, but like it's sort of the dark end of the spectrum. That one looks really nice as well, but this was my favorite. So yeah, I think that this is a really good option for a planner, particularly if you have a lot to plan during the day, and especially now that it's got the monthly spread. I think that it gives you a bit more of an overview. I've never really decorated one of these before, and what I'd like to do, I'm not sure what I'm going to use this for. Like I said, I have to think of some use for it that will, kind of not be too demanding and end up with me not actually using it. But I'd like to decorate it because I think that it would be fun now that I've got into planner decorating. And you don't actually see people decorating Moleskines very often, so I kind of like to do a, sort of plan with me or something using this. The only thing about it, like I said, is that being a daily diary, it's not great because you can't like decorate the whole week. So I'm not sure. I have to think about that. I might try one of the weekly ones instead. They have like, vertical weekly diaries where you can see the week on 2 pages, and I think that would probably lend itself a bit better to decorating. But this one has a lot of room, so there's definitely scope for stuff there, and it's a nice size. So I hope that you enjoyed this review, and I will be back again with another Final Fact setup. So thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!